Are we live? Is it Saturday? Where are the people? Are we here? Are we alive? Wow. Seems like it was just yesterday since we saw each other last. It's good. It's good. Last night was such a blast. All y'all that came, thank you so much for that. That was awesome to hang out with the old podcast crew. I can even say it, podcast crew. Not very many times fast, though. Patricia's Creations, good to see you. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful, sunny Saturday. Sunday, sunny Saturday thing. Melissa's here, and Alabama, USA is here in the house. Ken is here. Thank you guys for waiting. There's always last minute things. My microscope did not want to talk to my computer this morning. I was like, yeah, we were set up last night and you ditched me. You didn't use me last night when I was waiting ever so patiently the entire podcast. And so it seemed like it was a little bit in a snit. And so today we're going to get to the stuff that we did not have a chance to address last night on account that we were hanging out with Kurt and Kyle. If you missed it, not only is it available as a live stream that you can rewatch on this channel, but also it was streaming on the Rockhound podcast channel as well. So viewable on either of the platforms. And it was super fun to hang out in Kemmerer, Wyoming with Kyle while he was showing us the fresh fossil fish that he had just caught in the ancient lake. That was neat. Lesby Rocking is here in the house. James loves rocks, and so do we all, is here. Blind Squirrel Rocks is here as well. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm sorry that we didn't have a chance to look at your horn corals last night, given that we went ahead and got a little superseded by the podcast. But we are having those today. Those are going to be something that we view here in the very extreme near future, not only on the slab, but also underneath the microscope. Now, last night would have been better for the UV. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to swing that so good with all of this light going on, but we'll play the whole thing by ear and see what happens. We had a lot of liveliness this Saturday already. Tomcat Josh was live, and so was Alleluia. It is so cool to see that going on, and it is rumored that Rufo Tris Rooted Rockhound is coming on next. And so one of the things that I saw in the Discord that I thought was really cool was that, and it looks like Melissa has already put up a Discord. Hold on. Link. And excuse me. We had a suggestion from Patrick, the PhD, mineral doc, that it would be really cool to do a 24-hour live stream crawl. Who's down? We do have a holiday weekend coming up, and I think that might be a really, really cool thing for all of us to pitch in and do. I'm down. And so if you guys are interested in having that thing happen, go ahead. And if you haven't joined the Discord, join. And then we can all, I think, if we just do it in the general chat, not major, not captain, but general chat, we can discuss how we can get that together, that or in upcoming videos, one or the other. So we'll let you guys figure that out. But Spot is wondering, is it Saturday? You are asking the wrong cat, Karen. Yeah, I don't know. Some of us don't really keep track. So Steinkerns, to your weekend at large. I like just the whole feeling of that. So we're just gonna pop in and out all weekend long, and we're filling that Kyle void, of course, with all kinds of fun. What we're gonna be looking at today are the slices that I did just pull from the saw in the last couple days. They're slablets, and I've been working with some of your material, like the horn corals and the fossil chert from Blind Squirrel Rocks. I do have a couple of rocks from Melissa, and I cut also. I wonder if Soul's around. If somebody in the Soul chat wouldn't mind giving like Soul's ear a little bug, that I cut her piece of potato rock that I think she had found in her yard, because she was just curious as to it looked different, and so I cut that as well. We have a cross section of that we can slide underneath the microscope, and I was actually kind of surprised at what was inside. And so we've got those things to look at. And watermelon crawl. I think you're right, Spot. I think that there was a song. And Papa's Gems is in the house, and so is Lesby Rockin'. Did I say hi to Lesby Rockin'? I'm gonna start having that weird thing where, like, was that yesterday or today or tomorrow? Tiger Eye is here also, and agreeing on what a great Friday night show that was. It's always fun on Fridays, no matter who shows up. It always seems like a super good time with all y'all. And so, Stein curtains to you. Hope that you have a fabulous weekend happening as we speak, with lots of rocks, and maybe you're out rock hounding. Let us know in the chat. Willow Rocks is here, a lurkin. I love it. Lurk away and we'll keep you entertained if you're at your saw or at your studio, at your workbench, doing some silversmithing, creative juices a flowing, all that stuff. Cheers and Steinkerns. What's in your moose? And kind sterns to you. I do love that. Actually, I've been thinking about maybe improving on some merch where we have the Steinkerns and kind sterns, maybe around some kind of a Steinkern vessel of some kind. It's uh it's kind of rattling around up here. Not that I have only a couple things going on, a few irons in the fire. So I'm just gonna add another one. It looks like that opal guy is also a lurking around, and hopefully a working. Oh my gosh, baking zucchini bread. I love zucchini bread so much. And monster zucchinis have been showing up at our house also, because people try to, get rid of them at this time of year. So, maybe on that next monster zucchini, I need to make some zucchini bread. It looks like Jeff is in the house. Good to see you, Jay and B Rock Counting. And perhaps I think you were here before too, didn't? And I might have even said hello. I'm just gonna circle back a few times, you guys, and boop to Chris, because we're all booplicious, Stein boops, right? Boop sterns, boop kerns and sterns and whatnot. The chocolate orange with nutmeg and cinnamon. Oh my gosh, you're killing me. You're just killing me. It is cake, Alabama. It's an excuse for bread, whatever. Like flour-based entity that you are. We love you so much. Yeah, so we've got this rock craziness that's sitting here, and it is all full of juicy, freshly sawed goodness. You probably will recognize some of the stuff that's up here. I guess I could take that down. But we did have a good Friday night, just keeps on lasting. And So what I've got on the slab here is an array. This one here is from Melissa, and this was from her rock hounding expedition the time before last. She just came back from one. And so I definitely wanted to showcase some of her goodness. Now, she had this brecciated red guy that was also pretty. And so I think that we'll just start right off with that. Hopefully she's still in and around the place. I know that she has been popping from the different live streams to different live streams. One of the things that kept on happening today and yesterday when I was cutting was, boy, I was just having some blowouts. And it very well could have been that I was applying much pressure and all that. But I'm going to get this guy wet. We'll have a look, and then we're going to take a look under the microscope because it did finally start to work. And so here is the outside, and we had decided that, you're pretty good looking. I'm not entirely sure that's the way that it was supposed to go together. I was trying to do one of those things, but like, yeah, meager attempt. But I think that she knew, depending on how close I can get without poking your eye out. And I know you have to hold still for this sort of thing. And you guys can tell me in the chat if this stuff looks terrible and if I have to improve upon it. And it actually kind of looks yellow. Let me check the lighting that I have really quick. No, that's normal light. And so I'm gonna wiggle stuff around here a little bit, and hopefully it all doesn't come crashing down. But lighting improvements, sort of ish. And so there was this marbling over here that I was just talking about. And you can see it's just kind of scored throughout with these marbles of what could be agate or quartz or what have you. And so, oh my gosh, it was super fun to open up because it did end up being pretty darn awesome. So you can see if I hold it like nice and still for you, there's some really nice breccia area, especially a lot of that is healed. And so it might look like big cracks that are three-dimensional, but kind of smooth, and a lot of those cracks are healed and beautiful. And so we're going to take a look at that underneath the microscope because believe me, it does not disappoint. And so we've got this end here, not quite as gemmy, although definitely showing the breccia as well. But this really was the the money shot. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy here and we're going to put it underneath the microscope and have a look at that. And so let me do this here really quick and get this set up on aforementioned scopage. But yeah, I pulled this underneath and I was like, are you even kidding me? No way. No way. All right, so here she is up a little bit closer, and it's very interesting. Some of the blushy areas are a little bit of glare from light, but most of it is not. And so let me bring in a little bit more of the focus. So these light areas are actually like, either milky quartz or milky agate. And I'm going to go ahead and get this wet again. Hopefully we won't get too much glare, but this is going to be absolutely spectacular when it is polished. So shine on, you crazy diamond. So yeah, that's giving you at least an idea of that incredible milky white that just kind of has these hairline fractures through that are clear, and then you get those like almost orbiculars going on of clear as well, making some wicked neat designs in there. So I think what we really need to do is get closer because we're about as far out as we can go. And I'm sorry about the exposure, Bob, but it'll be helpful while we're zooming, and then I'll get rid of it so that you guys can get, pictures or whatever you need. So look at, I've mentioned this before, but it's always so neat when something is cool looking from afar, but every like closer look that you get and closer look that you get, it becomes more and more interesting. It's like it rewards you for taking some extra time to give it a nice close look. And so we're probably at about, I don't know, maybe 25x right now. And you're actually starting to see, the mineral particulating, that red, that really shockingly bright red. That's the color that it is. Um, having these wonderful little platelets in there. I'm going to get this wet again so that we, can continue kind of like a better look. But just imagine this would be like this all the time if it was polished. So you always have to really appreciate when you find something that is gemmy, you know, that it there's no guarantee when you go out rock hounding that you're going to find anything good. And so when you do find something good, it's always amazing to me, like, wow, that's like professionally good. And I found it in and so Melissa, this and I'm sorry, I'm a little bit behind in the chat, so I'll catch up with that in just a moment. But I better put the exposure back on so that we can, yeah, there we go. Keep up with this. Zoom in. And so as we zoom in, we're seeing even more and more the constituents of that beautiful red blaze that we saw, just particulating out ever so gracefully in this kind of icy cracked zone of the chalcedony, or if agate, if you will. And this was just, the tiniest vein, like a beautiful actual burst, almost like node like or nodule like in the matrix material, which appears to be brecciated jasper that is red. And we'll take a trip over to the brecciated jasper part here in a moment. So there's that. And get that back on there. Take that away just in case you guys want to enjoy that view a little bit more. We'll take a trip around a little bit here, and I'm going to catch up on the chat while we gaze at all of that beauty. Nothing beats a well-heeled crack. I have to like I completely agree with that opal guy, and holy wow for sure. And Ken loves little rings on the edge of that quartz. Yeah, it's like octopus. Yeah, the octopus tentacles a waving. Just beautiful. And it looks like Rocky Mountain Bear has joined us. Good to see you. Almost a basket weave pattern. I like that. Yeah, no kidding. Humna humna. Amazing Jasper Agate. Exactly. And Dub is here. Good to see you, man. I'm gonna get this wet again and we're gonna take a little tour on this guy. So I had just had the briefest look at this last night before we started the podcast. And so I haven't even really had a chance to look around on this, but how gratifying. Couldn't wait to get to it, and that's why we got to start off with it. We've got some really interesting, so this beautiful blazing red might also have like a chemical valence of this yellow, kind of like a limonite thing. And I love this zone right here where it's deep enough that it looks like it's purple. And then you can see that the lace, that white cloudy lacing is going up over the Jasper here, where we have the healed cracks. And it looks like, some of that yellow has infiltrated some of the healed cracking. And then, it's just got these like wonderful pinto spots or giraffe spots all the way through all that breccia. I mean, how cool. Oh, Lisa's here. Good to see you, Miss Birthday Girl. It's like your birthday all weekend long, right? Um, and so we are sitting at 40x right now. So that's as close as we get today. But I think that that's pretty phenomenal for, what is a unassuming little rock that was hanging out waiting for Melissa to find it. I'm gonna let go. It's gonna have a bounce, but I want to get a picture of that. That's pretty. I like it. So let us gaze at that for a moment while we snap a picture. So nice. I'll share some of these pictures later on the Discord if y'all are wanting to see what this stuff looks like. That the exposure bar coming back definitely washed it out a bit, but I like that also because we can see a little bit more of the super fine details. So amazing to me how some of this stuff just takes on, butterfly wing, or like flower petal. I mean, there's just so many things in nature that look like each other. It's good. And Wild Heart is here. Good to see you too. And Cynthia Foss, good to see you. The plummy yellow. Let me bring this up. Is essentially nice. I would definitely agree with you there. And yeah, I'm going to get this wet one more time. We'll take a little bit more of a tour and then we'll move on to the next guy because we've got some lots of stuff here on the slab to look at. And so we'll take this down and get this wet. There's just this guy is a complete riot, and I'm sorry about the bouncing, but look at all that business going on up there. We're getting filled in with yet something else, and yet the yellow is still dancing around it. Just uh another little riot of craziness going on. And I wanted to come, well, we'll finish. Whoa. It's a little glary up there. Sorry. This definitely shows off, though, how all of that like pinto spotting just got all over the place, or like an orchid, um, tiger lily, whatever. I wanted to come down here because there's a neat healed area that I wanted to check out. Thought it might be interesting to see what it was being healed by. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I think, are we down here? There's that crack. I mean, this whole thing is so interesting. Yeah, that's where I wanted to be. And this was just had like such an interesting variety of stuff, even just filling up its own fissure, having its own timeline of what happened. And that looks like it's trying to be, quartz crystal growing up in there. And so that's probably Druzy-esque. This might very well have some neat Druzy spots in it. And so, yeah, I'm definitely sending this back to you, Melissa, so that you can work this stone. Since you've got the flat lab coming, congratulations on that. I think you need this back. And so, it was just a pleasure to be able to cut it and have a look at it. And you can do the trimming too, because you're going to be having both of those wonderful toys at your disposal. But yeah, this just turned out to be such a flippin' good riot of fun. And so it's my pleasure to share it with you guys. Just crazy. Like there isn't a bad view. It's all good. This is great real estate. All right. And so it'll just be fun. You might be seeing metallics. I'm not sure. I haven't had a look underneath the microscope. Like a lot of times for me, when I look through the viewfinder itself, through the eyepieces, it's a better view. It's a lot crisper. I'm able to tell crystal structure way better. And so in that regard, like when I'm doing my gem setting and stuff like that, I look through the eyepieces and I don't use the camera. The camera's just there if I want to, you know, document it or something like that. And Tiger Eye, it's my pleasure. And thank Melissa for sending us the beautiful beautifuls for us to look at. That was indeed most most gorgeous. And so here is what those guys, originated. Like that was the outside. And Melissa was like, yeah, I think that there's stuff in there. Yeah, you were totally right. And let's see. Let's go to Melissa, I did do that really, really dark Jasper. I'm pointing to it right now, but I think we'll go to one of the horn corals first and then we'll double back. And that way yeah, blind squirrel is still here. So we'll get that taken care of. I did two of the horn corals and I liked them both. But this one in particular just turned out like, oh my gosh. And so I'm gonna get it wet, and I'll also be catching up on the chat. But you can see our little sushi bar of the cuts there, waiting to be looked at. All right. Batten down the hatches. Oh, a thunderstorm. Oh dear, Ken. Well, I hope that that goes okay for you. Um, and Grand Canyon from space, you can see the clouds. Oh, that's really a lovely sentiment. I love that, Alabama. Totally. It's just amazing how you see the microcosm to the macrocosm so often in these things. And so here again is the horn coral not put back together quite properly, but good enough. So you can like that's the bottom, and so that's what it kind of looks like on the end. And this one seemed to be like highly silicated, but also there was some interesting chert hanging out on it. So I thought, it might have some color to it. And sure enough, it did. Hold on just a second. I need one of my hands to do the thing that we want to do. There we go. Way better. When we're looking at stuff. Come on, Karen. Who's directing this show? And so we've got this variety of color that has actually more blue. Again, this setup seems to be a little bit on the yellow side, and it always seems to do that to me. And I'm gonna have to get my lighting a little bit better. You can see some scrapes from my saw, but you also can see how varied these colors are. And I know that Melissa and I were just going like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over the rings that were being made from the corals from Florida. And all I could think of when I was cutting this was how beautiful these calves are gonna look. And again, like how difficult it's going to be to select a side in which to, do the polishing, because in most cases the all of the sides are really pleasing. And so I don't know how many of you are super into uh the corals, and what a spectacular job they do with these really organic patterns that have the tendency to flow all over them. Which one did I? Oh, I'm gonna do this one underneath the microscope so that we can have a closer look at that. We'll get it wet again. Gorgeous horn coral, right? And so, somebody was asking me about the corals the last time. Oh, are those the Florida ones? And these are not. These are from Indiana, and they're like, I know they're different, but in a different way, they're every bit as good and interesting and gemmy to me as those ones that are coming out of Florida. So I am definitely an equal opportunity coral appreciator for sure. And Blind Squirrel is saying, I wondered how varied the structure would be on your cuts. And it looks like plenty varied. Yeah. And these are going to be really, I think the color is really going to pick up and be, boosted when we get a polish on them. So I'm gonna look at trying to get some of this stuff polished here at the beginning of this coming week. We'll see how many plates I can spin. And Lisa's like, yes, love all corals, right? Okay, just getting this guy wet so that we can have a nice view underneath the microscope. And let's see, getting that back up. Ooh, doggy. Oh yeah, we left it on 40. We so definitely did. And so panning back out and getting our exposure back correct, and then angling it. And so I'm going to do this without being in the computer, or rather the microscope view, so that you guys don't have to suffer. Oh my gosh. Okay. And so here we go. And that is our just 10x. And so we can right away get a bit closer. I tried to angle it so we wouldn't have to deal too much with glare. Yeah. And I'm going to get that wet again, but look at that. Like, when polished, that's going to throw some serious colors. I'm so in love. So yeah, highly, highly, highly motivated to get right on this. And as Cynthia Foss also agrees with that sentiment about the corals. Who doesn't love that stuff? And Willow is saying, I need more fossils in my life, and fossilized turtle skulls can be found in landscaping river rock. That's crazy to think of. I mean, definitely if you order some rock for some landscaping, take a really good look. Now, one of the things that I really like about this guy is you see a little polyp on the side, and it's in the glare right now, but right there on the bottom right corner is like this really cool, and of course I just took the water off of it. Let me see if I can just move that a little bit, and we can see, like, look at that little baby. It's so cute. Um, yeah, it takes us to know that corals can be cute. Just like a little fingerprint guy. And moving back over here, and I can get rid of that exposure bar. Well, this looks to me, once again, things definitely um, playing the mimic game in nature. Yeah, getting a different angle on that. Sorry, guys. I mean, um, some of those strands looking almost lavender. That is so cool. So these guys look so much like a sea anemone. Getting it wet again, and we'll take a tour up towards the top. And then, of course, take a closer look at the configuration of what makes these tendrils so amazing. And so up towards the top, getting some just flamboyant color going on up there as well. And so we are still only at, I don't know, maybe 15 mag right now. It's starting to look like a sandworm. Yeah, I would agree with that. Like clouds flowing over the mountains into the valley. Yeah, they're about to go all catabatic in that valley, I think. Very, very beautiful. Okay, so we're going to pan in and improve our focus and go look at those really saturatedly blue guys over to the right, I think. But I like how when we pan in, we can see how particulated this whole thing is. Even that chert that was in the center, I believe that it was more of a permineralization than just a random fill. I could be wrong, but it looks like they're not just simple grains, like that they're taking on the structure of what might have been inside, which is pretty interesting. Looks like something that would bite you, Lisa. A lamprey. Yes, yes. I am totally seeing that, Willow. Good call on that. Let's go into these like fabulous little tendrils. We're gonna need that exposure box back so that we can keep up with the dark. We don't want to get too dark up in here. And so diving on in there. And what I really wanted to see were these little guys that had these round inclusions. So we've got some orbiculars that took up residence in this silicification. Pretty interesting. Get rid of that again. And I should have been taking more pictures. I'll take one now. Yeah, that's you have to wonder if that was just the way that the silicates wanted to set up, or if there was something, like something digit oriented with the makeup of the coral that made it be like that. Like, these kind of look like the roots of teeth too. Gonna get it wet again. Everybody stand by. No. Try not to make it go away completely. All right. And bring that down. The blue is stunning to me. I just love that. And it looks so good with the complementary color of how deep the chert goes into an orange. They're fabulously contrasted. And Willow Rock says, PSA, I've been known to chase people with a lamprey when fishing. Oh man, that's great. I think that sounds like a good time. I mean, if you don't get chased by a lamprey while you're catfishing, I mean, what good is the? I mean, unless you catch some fish, but like if you're not catching fish, you might as well be chasing people around with a lamprey. That's what I always say. Today. And coming back down here, gonna hone in on that, and we'll get her down closer and focused. So I'm kind of impressed with like how much detail and interest is happening so magnified. Like we're getting 40x, and for all intents and purposes, the way that this permineralized, the silicification looks very agate because it looks like it fortified How neat is that? I'm gonna get it wet again. Trying to get it wet without moving it too much, and snap in some pictures. That's just super cool. Looks like if you guys have seen a shark's purse, a mermaid's purse, or a ray egg or a shark's egg, that's what that little guy up there kind of looked like. And yeah, that's pretty neat stuff. And that's, the granular nature of what the chert has set up like. So it's fine, but you can see crystals that, or else it's per mineralized cell structure, one or the other. And so I think that's interesting too. Like we're getting a fairly decent look at the granular nature of the way that this set up. Looks a bit like a skeletal structure right now. And whoops. There we go. It was a question to me that the blue would remain at depth in the cuts. Usually the blue shows yellow in background light. Yeah, this is just definitely holding up. Although the other specimen that I cut, just not quite as colorful. So I guess they are just beholden to what they get to absorb as they're mineralizing, with the mineral content of the fluids that are happening nearby. Eric the cat is here. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. And it is a very pretty specimen. What are we seeing? This is a horn coral from Indiana that I actually cut. Before I pan out, I will bring up the auto exposure so that we don't freak out too much. But yeah, these were just I don't know, I would say the maximum around a 3-inch long specimen, and maybe an inch and a half in their width. And we're looking at a cross section. So this is what the center of the beast looks like. Very, very radial, being that it's the horn coral entity. But I love those the structures that radiate like the flower. Just beautiful. And so that will definitely be getting its polish on for sure. We will be playing with that. And so once again, thank you so much, Blind Squirrel Rocks. And we will be checking out what those look like polished up very, very soon. Hopefully within the week, perhaps by the next Friday Night Live, we shall be able to peer at that in its totally it's totally shined up structure. So I just dropped part of Melissa's the Jasper rock that I'm not entirely sure what it was. And so we're going to have a look at it, but it was a little soft for being Jasper. It cut so easy. And I do believe that there is a metallic presence in this one. And it is the one that we thought was a my phone just decided to quit. We thought it was a like a dark jasper agate, but like I said, it just it cut way easy. So we'll have a look here. And since my phone just went off, and I'll go ahead and open it up to be another camera here in a second, but we can be looking at the microscope while I do that. being is that, hopefully it didn't die, but I'll take us all the way back out to 40 on the microscope and get us going here. All right. I'm like let's get that exposure figured out. So this is the one, Melissa, and perhaps in the chat you can help us with this, knowing what we're looking at. Bring the exposure way down. Yeah, it's such a dark thing that the exposure wants to overcompensate. I see what's going on. Ugh. Let's try that again. Bring that back up, and we'll just pan in so that we don't worry so much about the glare. But look at what we have here. As soon as I get it into focus, is it's like we have layers that go back and forth. Oh, that didn't help. Of greenstone, which I would imagine is like maybe a serpentinite or something like that, and the layers that are shining back up at you are that shiny, and so they are maybe hematite or something like that. I'm trying to think of what the area around there has, and I know that some of you that are down there probably have a little bit more knowledge. Around the outside of these guys, you can see some black, and what you see being shiny is not glare. Like in the cores of those crack lines, it is metallic. And so we'll get closer, but I'm going to check the chat here. Maybe it's a rhyolite. It very well could be a rhyolite. It would be very soft also if it was a serpentinite. And now that I'm getting a closer look at that, one would also make sense. And so I'd say that rhyolite and serpentinite might be a good potential, and we can do scratch tests and things like that. And it does look a bit like a labradorite. I would agree with that, but we don't have any adventurescence, and so I'm not entirely sure. No macadamia nuts. I'm sorry. That sounds terrible. It looks like a mammoth tooth. Don't we wish? Let's see. I like nuts, says Eric the cat. Boiled peanuts. We're all over the place. All right. And so we're gonna get closer to this guy. And I'm gonna get it wet again, and we'll get it all focused back up, and we'll see if we can't figure out from some of the if it has any telltales, if we can break the rhyolite or serpentinite mystery. And it's just, at this point, it's kind of difficult to really tell. Here's a nice closer look. I like the colors very much. And it looks to be one of those things that, the closer that you get, the more like itself it looks. It's not it's not really all that different. I would say that the grains are very fine, but that doesn't rule out either. Polonium. I'm not familiar. Secrets in the sauce. And yeah, I have no idea what this little friend is. I've been boggled since I picked it up. Well, the boggling does continue. We're sharing is caring, and we're sharing this this bogglement for sure. Does it seem like something that would polish up or no? Boy, it was awfully soft, but I know that serpentinite and rhyolite both polish, like take a beautiful polish. And so, although I guess the serpentinite, it kind of depends on its quality, because sometimes the serpentinite can be flaky, it can be rotten, so it just can be kind of crumbly. Like I believe that it does oxidize to some degree, and so I can play with it and see. I'm afraid that if I take this to my laps, that it might just make a slurry, because it almost made a slurry of mud when I was sawing it, which is, unusual. Like that happens when you are cutting mudstone and stuff like that. Um, yeah, so I can, take a shot at playing with it, because it would be neat to see it um shined because of the metallic. It is very pretty. And so, yeah, definitely would want to mask up if I was doing something like that. I agree. Um, and Ken's on the serpentinite, as well, as we watch the thing. Like, also look at how fast it's slurping up the water. And so that's another interesting thing. We have like a wide enough granular spacing that it's somewhat thirsty rock. So serpentinite that got exposed to a hot spring, maybe crackling it up and filling it with a metallic bearing liquid. Yeah, I mean, I love that idea. And it seems like when we were up at the confluence of the Illinois and the Rogue River, which wouldn't be too far away from where your source might be, just southern Oregon to northern California, we did find some metal bearing serpentinite. So it's so possible. Um, yeah, blind squirrel. No open wounds when working with this. Yeah, I would agree. A lot of times when I'm doing stuff, I do it outside. And so this would be one of those where it might be more fun to work outside and make it short work. Although there's just little nubbins. The pieces are pretty darn small. And so I'm not too worried about working with it. And oh, the phone was kind of on the hot side. So that might have been it. And so while we adoringly look at the microscope microstone screen, I don't know what I'm talking about today. The microscope screen, we can put another specimen on it that holds water. And so I think we're going to look at one of the pieces of the gem field that I cut, because I'm pretty sure that would hold some water on it. Let's see, find one of the interesting ones. And so actually, I won't burn you guys' eyes out. I'll take that off for a second. Hi. And this is some of the gem field from. There's a purple area. I think that they call it like purple dendrite or something like that. I can't remember. And so I'm gonna have to look at my cheat sheet, but this is from there, and it's got some pretty neat stuff going on. And I absolutely love the colors and the contrast. I'm at some point hopefully going to get around to doing some intarsia, where I can um put together some of the different gem fields with other parts, like other regions of the gem field, because the material seems to like to all go, it matches itself, if that makes any sense, very nicely. And so here is this piece. And so you can see the purples. It's got some really neat red to it. You can see the spots, or what, in some of the specimens turns to dendrite. And not sure if I'm completely happy with how much exposure we have. And yet the exposure bar, oh, wow, that's a lot. It's bring it back down there. And I don't know that it's all that well focused. Interesting. And we'll get a little bit closer. There we go. I like that a lot better. And so what's kind of neat also is it really reminds me the chalcedony when it gets um, in between the purple area and the opalite area, it turns into this like sort of chalcedony. And so it's very porcelainy. And this is, very fine grained porcelain feeling chalcedony. And so it's delightful not only to cut, but also to work with. It takes like a stupid high shine. And then it's got these ice cream colors that, you've got like the blueberry there on the edge that kind of just bleeds into the ice cream. And so, yeah, it's so pretty, Lisa, that she's saying beautiful colors. I agree. And yeah, the Gemfield is so delicious. So look upon that for a moment while I try to bring the phone back to life. Um, and I can also adjust that down to yep. John just sent me an email that is titled "Still Under a Virtual House Arrest." So I guess his poor technical ability with his complete hardware meltdown is persisting, which is so sad. Um, so I just have to make a couple of little tweaks here before we open this up and talk amongst yourselves whilst I play with my phone and get that back. Okay, that's done. And good. Take it back. Multitasking. I can multitask big things, but small things like this, I'm not good at like talking and then getting this episode taken care of at the same time. And it looks like we have some folks that just landed. Good to see you, Julie. Thank you for coming. And uh, Daniel, I don't know if I said hi to you before either. And I miss John big time as well. And so at least he's checking in and giving us a heads up on why we're all being ghosted, not on purpose by the poor guy. And I do hope, John, we hope that you come soon or go hang out with your neighbor that allowed for us all to be able to hang out that one little time. Okay, so we have the technology back, and I'm going to get this wet and we can take a deeper dive to see if we can get close enough to see if this has got some crystalline structure that we can see. Otherwise, it's exceedingly microcrystalline, which, I think it's interesting sometimes when you have names like chalcedony applied to something that you would be like, well, how come this isn't a jasper? A lot of this stuff is translucent and it's so flippin' microcrystalline. And then I recall that there are plus minus factors to uh, what jaspers as far as extra minerals have to contain to be a jasper as opposed to say just a chalcedony. I think it has to have a certain high uh, content of mineral, and so we're just getting in closely to that little globtubular there to have a look at it's like got a fabulously floral structure in the minerals that made that bloom. And I mean, we're still not seeing any crystal structure. This is so fine. Like I said, it really reminds me of porcelain. And so I'll just take a little tour around here and I'll adjust the focus as we're coming into some different terrain. Um, you know, it's starting to dry off, so you can kinda see a little bit of the orange rind that my saw left, and even still, like, the saw orange rind does not show much of the crystalline structure, so this stuff is just so finely grained. I wanted to get over here and have a look at that purple. Um, and you can see, like, this chalcedony was probably just white and got tinted with these minerals because those platelets, I'm gonna get this wet again, seem to be, you know, big blotches, and then they get finer and finer and finer. And the more, you know, magnification, probably the more we'd see these little orbiculars. And there we go again. I did move it. Sorry about that. But short work to get back where we were. And we'll refine our view there. See, just it's like your, you know, strawberry quick or whatever. Like you can stir it, but it doesn't actually become part of the milk ever. There's always little bits of it. Or you know, your hot cocoa, if you will, if you haven't had strawberry quick before. So we're getting close to 40x at this point, and you're seeing that the tinting is not, you know, tinted material as much as it is tiny particulates. So this was not completely dissolved into the fluid, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. We'll auto expose so that we get a little bit more light on that. I guess that didn't do that much. Um, and let's see, maybe a little bit closer. Yeah. So there's 40x for us. And yeah, you know, when you were looking at it far, far away, you wouldn't have guessed that that ombre of the fade out from the purple into the white was not just kind of fluid. You know, it's definitely made of these teeny weeny particles. And so I think that that's pretty fascinating. Thunder is rolling in over there with Ken. Do be careful. Hopefully, everything is going to stay battened down over there. And thank you for becoming a member. That is so awesome. Welcome to the Stein, Kearns, and Kindsterns tribe. Let me ring the bell for you. Awesome. I'm actually wearing the Stein Kearns merch today. And so it's all awesome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And so we'll slowly pan back out and have a look. Let me give that a star. And see what we were just looking at. I just love this stuff so much. And those of you who are jewelry people that you know, you can't really look at a specimen of anything. Wow, that's really getting burned out because of the it's catching the glare of the light just perfectly. There's the rind. That's what the rind looks like over there. And yeah, just gonna burn out because I took the auto exposure away. That's why. That's why I come. But yeah, speaking of, you know, jewelry designers, a lot of the time, you know, you're looking at stuff like this and you're making the pieces of jewelry out of it while you just look at the rough. And I mean, I am dying to make a piece. This is really hard stuff, so does great in like rings and bracelets and stuff like that. You can bash it pretty hard, and you know it's not going to scratch up, and it's not going to um, crack and break for like the most part. You'd have to be pretty rough on it. So you know, I was just thinking of pairing it with some amethyst and maybe some garnet. So yeah, that's going to be super fun when the cabochons are made. I did make a little pile of slablets, actually. I'll go ahead and do this and then add you back to the stage. Look, it's back. Up and then boop. There we go. And so these are the slablets of that material, and this is the one that we were just looking at. Um, and so again, you can see like very little of it is actually white, but I love the contrast. A lot of times, contrast is, taken for granted in stones, but when it's set into a piece of jewelry, it's striking. It's, like, amazing what, even just, like, a black and white stone does, and plus those pieces of jewelry go with everything. So that's something that I'm always thinking of too. But, the tinting, of what the camera's picking up right now is not that accurate. I would say that muddy color is a little bit more lavender, kind of like the bottom end of that. It does meet some of the yellow, so it does kind of have like a murkiness to it, but then there's also a blue and a green that aren't really showing up that well here. And so maybe at that when I'm changing the lighting to some of that outdoor lighting that's coming through the window there, you can see that the color play is from lavender through a very, very light blue tinting to a very light kind of aqua green tinting, and then to the yellow. And so this stuff is pretty neat. And then of course you've got like fracture fills and the little dots and all the stuff, and it changes fairly quickly throughout one lump. This was all of that was all one lump, not this over here. That's a different lump, but like this was part of that lump too. And so very, very purple. That's like part of the bottom, but still totally cabbable. And so fun, fun, fun material. And I'm going to catch up really quick here on what's what. That's friggin' artwork right there. I know, right? Oh, and thank you, Lisa. Hit that button. Hit the button, and we'll ensure more fabulous, beautiful jewelry coming up out of there, and really, really pretty pieces. Yeah. You guys are pretty much all agreeing. Claim. Yeah, that show might be coming up. One of the things that I wanted to bounce off of you guys, whoops, boop, was the like I have these mini sets here where I took a lump. Let's see, where does the set end? Let me move that and this there. And so there's what like one of those lumps looks like, consolidated, that whole little patch. And I was kind of thinking, like that might be fun actually to do like an auction for like all the slablets from a lumplet. Like that. And so I or maybe even like mixed slablet groups as some little auctions just to have fun. I think that might be cool. And so over here on like the deeper realm, we have some of the purple, and again, not the very best lighting for this light here. Definitely looking more yellow. I'm gonna get this wet. Like the way that I see it, it's like red and purple, and it looks like very nebula oriented. And so we'll stick it under the microscope, and you'll be able to get a better. But like this is what I meant by how much fun to make some intarsia where these guys that sort of share some of the same colors get to be the same stone. I think that would be super fun. So we'll put this guy up and see what that looks like. See, that's the color that I see that's what it looks like. And so it's pretty radiantly lovely stuff. And again, our deep saturated color there is, it's interesting for even me to see it underneath the microscope. I haven't really scoped out this stuff in particular, that even how purple it looks, it's still particulate oriented as opposed to being that color, if that makes any sense. There, we'll get closer. And it's just such a nebula of colors. I just love this stuff so much. I can't wait to go back, you guys. I'm gonna be like Kyle with his fish, but it's gonna be, no room in our vehicle or trailer, just loaded up with the Gemfield stuff. I really enjoy that. There's a neat line that's going through there. That's really there. How kind of melted ice cream this stuff is. It just undulates through different colors, or it's fairly cosmic. Yeah, look at that. Look at that cool little line. That's interesting. And going into the glare, so we will go the opposite direction. But some really, really nice saturated colors in this particular rock. You get there and there's so much material, you like literally have to high grade. I like this up here where we've got the yellow and the purple and the like kind of orange into red and like maybe just a little bit of blue. And this is Gemfield Chalcedony, Julie, and each part of Gemfield Chalcedony's claim. And this is in Nevada, so I'm sorry, I'm being totally cryptic. I'm, like I'm talking to everybody like you've all been there before or something. So down near where you'd get the turquoise and the variscite in Nevada is also this claim that has gem chalcedony and opalite, and also some jadeite. Actually, you'd really probably enjoyed the jadeite there. And so you can go and collect your own, and so you end up just high grading on all of this amazing stuff that's upheaving out of the ground in these huge fissures. It's really kind of super extra double mind blowing. In fact, I have a video that I owe all of you guys, and if I can get on the editor this next week, I will make that video so that you guys can see where this material is from, and then maybe I'll do some slablet groups for an auction next weekend. That might be fun. And so y'all can get your hands on some, but some of you guys already have some of this Gemfield material. I can say it because I did give Kyle some to give away in those giveaways. And so some of y'all are sitting on some of this already. And it looks like Julie went rock hounding today. That's fantastic. And Daniel wants some ice cream. Yeah. I think we can also get some closer to this guy. And again, you just see the colors closer. It's so crazy how, some of the pieces just get more and more detailed. And this is just more and more of its own color and a lot of dots. And so I like this as far as, being more like a Rothko painting than a Jackson Pollock, or maybe it's also a Jackson Pollock, but just not a Picasso. Yeah, the other one was a Picasso. On my 4th strawberry shortcake ice cream bar. Yeah, I'm with you. That's great. And we would love to hear about what you found, Julie. That would be fun to hear about, and where it was that you ended up going rock hounding. And we didn't hear. I don't think we heard about what Melissa did find. Also, let me see how much closer. Wow, we were way out, and so that's almost there, and we are just seeing teeny weeny specks of color. And we get rid of your exposure bar. We're done at the bar, And I mean, it's just that it's truly a little cosmos. And you just cruise through different parts of the color galaxy. There's a nice little group of things there, but I'm going towards the glare. We don't want to do that. Go over here instead. What is over here? More color, because that's what kind of stone this is. There's some bloopage. We'll get that into the crispiness, but yeah, this is just amazing stuff to work with on account that it just takes a polish that is madness. I love it. Actually, I do have a couple pieces that are from some similar. That was like a whole lump situation as well. There's a lot of smaller pieces that you can pick up because that they would be easier to deal with as far as your saw goes. And so oftentimes when I'm doing my mining, I have like, how am I going to work with this material? Are these pieces for my big saw because I've got a 20-inch saw, or are these pieces for my 10-inch saw? Or, is this piece of float just something that I can pick up and actually make a cabochon out of just as it is? And you kind of factor in like, okay, how much work is this guy going to be? And what do I want to do with it as you're going along? We have cotton candy too, most definitely. And Melissa says that she found a variety of what the hell is rocks. All right, that sounds like a good plan. Taking pictures today and putting them up on the Discord. We would all love to see. And so these are like, you guys have seen these before, but this is a pretty good reference. I'll bring this up. Whoa. She said, and then didn't. Oops. And then we got to do that. Okay. And then I'm going to take that and that. So you can see what kind of a polish they take. I mean, super awesome. And those purple and red ones are like that, the purple dendrite material and this cloudy material that you can see there in the background underneath the microscope right now is very much like what we have here. And again, color's not playing very nicely with my with the light that I have here, this ring light, but you see the rings. And this little guy right here is actually some of the opalite. And so I didn't bring any of the opalite, very, very Picasso-y. I didn't cut any of the opalite for this batch. That is actually some pretty crazy stuff. And so I'm learning how to cut the opalite and get a better feel for how compliant it wants to be. And you guys remembered this from the live that we did. Like, this is one of those pieces. It's not finished yet. I still do need to put the final polish on it, but this is the one that I hand carved while we were all hanging out together from a piece of float. And that's kind of what I was just talking about. And so it's got some of the bullseye, but it also has some of this like purple, the purple pit dendrite stuff going on. So this is a pretty cool amalgam piece that we did carve together. And I still do need to make sure to take you all along on the experience of getting that guy shined up. And thank you, Ryan. Super, super, super fun. Claim the box. Like, Melissa is like shopping. Like, I do think, like I was saying, it would be fun to, maybe do some little auctions, and maybe what would happen is you could even get like a mixed deal, like some cab and some of the rough together, slablets and tumbleables or whatever. I'll be thinking about that, and you guys can like pitch in your thoughts too, either here in the chat or over on the Discord. I'm all ears as to how you might want to run something like that. And then it is Blind Squirrel Rocks still here? Because we also have this surprise that was absolutely a huge surprise for me. And so remember this brainy guy, if you guys were watching the live that I did, I think it was a Friday night live where I unboxed the Blind Squirrel Rocks box in the first place. And I promised that I was going to cut some of the stuff. And so I cut that horn coral. And then there was this guy. And I was just like, oh, what are you going to look like inside? So go ahead and let your imagination wander around a little bit for a second and imagine to yourself, like, what should this look like on the inside? And I was also wondering if, like, are we looking at a like a stromatolite ball? Just because of how gloopy and layeredy it looks. Hey, Kirk, good to see you. Thank you for coming. um, and thank you about the stones. And yeah, like rough and a finished piece, Chris. So you guys remember for me. Yeah, next weekend. That's a good idea. And here we are. Yeah. So next weekend, I believe it's the holiday weekend, and I know that Kyle's still not going to be back doing any live sales, and so maybe we'll all hang out and holiday together, and I could do some auctions and we can have some fun with the rocks together, and that would give me some time to do some more cutting. If that's something that you guys would like, I can totally do that. We'll have a little party, a little slablet party. And now you know what that is. Oh my gosh, Blind Squirrel Rocks, do tell, do tell. So here we go. There's that. And this is sample of beak height on quartz. Oh, wow. This is, let the squirrel out. Wow, that is so cool. Okay, so we cut it open and now we know what it is. And so this is what we have inside. Are we still here? And it looks like Rufotris is going to start uh, start in about an hour. That sounds good. And you guys, what I think is going on is our internet is probably getting like bombarded by a bunch of tourists that are here this weekend because there's a gazillion billion people here in town, and so I have a feeling it's just getting completely overloaded. Like everybody's doing a live stream from the Oregon coast right now or something, and she's back. No, no. It yeah, if you want to go Rufo, that would be great. And YouTube is messing up all my channels. I'm sub to yeah, right, Willow? Like, I know that Josh was having one heck of a time earlier as well, and I don't know if it's YouTube or just the interwebs this weekend. Um, it's been crazy, you guys. And so actually, let me let me see if I can do a thing here really quick. While we're all chit-chatting, like I said, John did you wait. But yeah, everybody's having technical difficulties. It was strange and it was the audio only. Yeah, I mean just weird stuff has been going on. So Rufotris, I hope that your live stream that's coming up soon goes swimmingly well. And meanwhile, we'll all get like rebates on our Steinkerns. Look, I didn't even drink the rest of my coffee. It's looking awfully blonde right now, though. Look at how light this coffee is. It's like mostly milk. Steinkerns to you. Thank you so much for joining. And it was a fun little micro zone that we did. And then knowing that we had a bunch more on the slab there and that super cool brainy looking thing there at the end. Oh, I'll put it in iron out and we'll get that brown spot out and the quartz crystals go down into it. It's a geode, basically. It is so flippin' cool. And so we were ending on a very high note, and we get a to be continued that will be super fun to watch. If things aren't really happening tomorrow, I'll probably go live again and we'll have a look at some of the rest of this stuff. And I thought it might be also fun to play with the rock combinations. I talked about doing this before, like where I was just showing you like how much fun it would be to take this one and put it into an intarsia. I love taking all of my rocks and putting them, not all of them, but like all of the cabs and the gemstones that I'm feeling kind of want to become a piece of jewelry. I put them together and I like play with different scenarios until they congeal and they go like, these three guys must be a piece. Stop playing and go to work right now. And so it's very inspiring. I thought maybe we'd have like a little session like that where we could all play with this stuff. And so hopefully we'll see not only Rufotris go live, but also we'll see um uh Tomcat Josh get a rebate on that. I don't know if Alleluia was planning on going live again tomorrow, but we've got a whole rest of our weekend to look forward to, and hopefully we'll be seeing a bunch of lives from the community. If you do have a live link that you want to pop up into the chat, that would be great. And then we also of course have our sharing at the Discord, which reminds me that Jahik was talking about doing live in the Discord, the lounge or the stream area or whatever. And so keep an eye out for that over there on the Rockhound Roundtable Discord. And we'll all get together. What's fun about that is like I love watching your guys's oh, it's Bee Kite. It's still there. um I love watching your comments go by, but one of the cool things about the Discord is that you can either just have the audio on, you can have your microphone on, and you can talk in real time with each other and with the person who's working, which is super cool. And then you could also be on the camera too if you've got things that you want to show off and whatnot. And so thank you again, everyone. We'll go ahead and toss up. This will probably be the last time for this credits, and I'll change it again because we have new members and we have to highlight our new members on the credits. And those of you who are members, there's the first shell that is like a turquoise colored shell. And now we have the blue scallop shell for some of the older members of the channel. Yeah, it's been that long that you get a different colored shell. And the shells will keep on changing. The next one after this would make Lisa very happy. It's a purple. And so we'll work our way through the colors, and you guys can see as far as your membership, the colors change, which is always kind of fun. And, you know, it's a surprise to see what the next graphic is. And so we'll have that going on. Oh, and there's Hallelujah. We're just saying goodbyes. And I was lurking during your live as well. I don't know if I said hi or not, but I was definitely checking out all those beautiful gems that you had going by as well. I was cutting rocks at the same time. Thanks again, you guys. I love you. Willow and Blind Squirrel Rocks and Spot and Lesby Rockin' and Sonia and Ma and Chris and Hallelujah, Tyler, and everybody. Lisa, of course. Yes, purple. I did that just for you, Lisa. Like after there's like a month, and then you get the 2-month badge, and then the next badge you have for another 4 months until you get your 6-month badge. And so the next badge will be purple because I figured Lisa needs that in her life. You'll be wearing a purple badge there for a little while. Thank you, Ryan. And Ken's back too. Yeah, you guys are finding the stream again just as we're getting off. But it's been a pleasure. Like I said, love you all. And Rufo is getting ready to go. I think I need to change the ones on your channel. Oh, all right. So he's going to get some fresh badges as well. And we're gonna toss these credits up. And Ken doesn't need no stinking badges. You got one anyway. All right. I love you guys, Steinkerns. We'll see you through the rest of the weekend on everybody's live. We'll probably do another one. And enjoy this beautiful music made by John Sosser Hunter, whom we totally miss, who also goes by the name of Jumpin' Jonathan. That's the credit at the very, very end. And we'll see you. Cheers. Are we alive, everybody? Are you here? Am I here? And we can't hear me. Let's start over again. Are you here? Am I here? And we can't hear me. Let's start over again.